Today, we're diving into one of the world's biggest epics, the Mahabharata. But we're not looking at some grand battle. No, we're zooming in on a tiny, almost hidden moment, because tucked away in here is a masterclass in storytelling, a secret technique for making an audience absolutely desperate to hear what happens next.
And it all kicks off with this question. I mean, what a brutal, shocking question, right? Not just defeat an enemy, but slaughter an entire species. This is the mystery at the heart of what we're exploring today. A story so powerful that just the chase to hear it becomes an epic all on its own.
So let's set the scene. We're deep in an ancient forest. A young man, his name is Ruru, walks up to a wise sage, a Rishi. And believe me, he is not there to make small talk. He has a burning question, something he absolutely has to understand. And listen to how he asks it. He ends with, "Tell me in detail." He's not looking for the short version, not the bullet points. He wants the whole story, every single part of it. And that tells you right away the stakes here are incredibly high for him. He needs to know everything.
Okay, so you'd think the wise old sage would sit him down and start telling the story, right? Nope, not even close. What happens next is this brilliant, and let's be honest, kind of frustrating narrative trick. The storyteller doesn't give the answer. He deflects.
The Rishi's reply here is just perfect. He does two things at once. First, he dangles the bait. He calls it a wonderful story, which of course only makes Ruru and us want to hear it even more. But then he completely dodges the question. He basically says, yeah, it's a great story. Someone else will tell you. And then, poof, he's gone, vanishes into thin air. So, in an instant, a simple request for a story has been turned into a desperate quest. The one person who has the answer is gone, leaving Ruru with this burning question and absolutely no one to answer it. And because of this, everything changes. Ruru isn't just looking for some person in the woods anymore. No, he is now on a frantic chase for the story itself. The tale has become this prize, this thing that's been snatched away from him, and now he has to get it. And the cost of that chase is just immense. This isn't some casual search. The text says he ran here and there, then far and hard. It's so intense that it leads to a complete physical and mental breakdown. He collapses, the world spins, and he actually faints. Think about that. The simple act of wanting to hear a story has become a life-or-death struggle. Which brings us to the really big question. Why? Why would the author do this? Why put Ruru and us, the audience, through all of this? Why make it so incredibly difficult just to hear a story? Well, this isn't just a random plot twist. It's a deliberate and really, really powerful technique. What we're actually seeing here is a very clever literary device. It's called a framing narrative. The author is literally building a story around the story, creating a frame that's designed to make the picture inside it seem infinitely more valuable. The easiest way to think about a framing narrative is just a story within a story. You've got this outer story, that's the frame, and its whole job is to get you ready, to set the stage for the inner story, which is the one you're really waiting for. So let's look at our example. The frame is everything we just saw, Ruru's exhausting, desperate search for the storyteller. And the picture inside that frame, that's the story he's dying to hear, the tale of the serpent slaughter. The whole point of the frame is to make us absolutely desperate to see that picture. So why is this so powerful? Well, first, it builds an insane amount of suspense. We're right there with Ruru, on the edge of our seats. Second, by making the story so hard to get, it automatically feels more important, more significant. I mean, if a character is willing to pass out in a forest for it, it must be an incredible story, right? And finally, it connects this past event, the slaughter, directly to the present, making it urgent and relevant to Ruru. And after all that drama, you won't believe how the chase ends. It's almost funny how simple it is. Ruru wakes up, he goes home, and he asks his dad. And his father just tells him the story. The frantic quest is over. The frame has done its job. The stage is perfectly set, our anticipation is through the roof, and now the main story can finally begin. So the big takeaway here is that sometimes how you get to the story is just as important as the story itself. This ancient technique is a great reminder that the best stories aren't always just told to us. Sometimes they have to be earned. And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. How many of the great stories that you love aren't just about the tale itself, but about the unforgettable journey you took to finally hear it?